Previously on MD Poker Vlog. Here we are outside Final Table Poker Club in Portland, Oregon, ready to battle it out in this $20K guaranteed poker tournament. We buy in for $100, aces held up, and we ended up almost tripling up our stack. It's a bit of a dicey spot, but ultimately we decided to go for max value and shove the rest of our stack, $20,000. And I'm surprised to see that they ultimately make the call. I ask if they have a 6, and they say no, so we flip our set of 10s and we're good. As he turns the last remaining 8 in the deck, that's right, we turn mother bluffing quads. We show them the bad news, and they show pocket jacks.
Damn. You're kidding. Holy shit.
Wow, did they catch up. They made a freaking full house on the turn with pocket 5s. How insane is that? They shove for around 35,000 and we obviously snap call. Wow. Once again, what a sick setup. Our opponent had ace king with the king of spades. Everyone is starting to feel the pressure as 28 players remain, but only 18 are getting paid. We wave the white flag and give up, announcing we have queen high. And Ronnie shows up 6 deuce offsuit. We got really owned on this one, and we are now sitting with 8 big blinds, 5 from the money, and we are livid. Hey guys, welcome to vlog number 9 part 2. I hope you enjoyed this little recap. If you do want to see part 1 in full, I'm going to add the link in the description and somewhere up here at the top of this video. It has been the fastest growing video on the channel. I really appreciate everybody's support. So let's keep the momentum going. If you enjoy the content that I put out, then please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's free, but it just helps grow the channel a ton. Same for likes. If you enjoy this video, just smack that like button. It's a very small thing to do, makes a big difference. And finally, one other thing that makes a big difference is don't hesitate to drop a comment. I respond to everyone, and I really enjoy getting to know people who view my videos and people who subscribe to the channel. You know, let's not be strangers. I love to hear from you guys. So yeah, don't hesitate, drop a comment. I'll get back to you. So at the end of part 1, we spewed half of our stack on a bluff with 5 people left to bust before we reached the money, and so we ended up being short stacked, and I just hated myself for that. But you know, I kept grinding, and we're gonna head back to the action. Now, the first few hands that make the beginning of this vlog, unfortunately, I either did not film or lost the footage, but I do have Instagram stories. By the way, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's Mark Davies Poker. I post live tournament updates, I announce when a new vlog is coming out, and then I share all kinds of other things. So, you know, if you want to get more of my content, then you can check that out. I really appreciate that too. So here we go. This is what happened when we resumed the action. After losing half our stack bluffing with 5 players remaining, we somehow managed to survive 4 more eliminations and now find ourselves on the stone cold bubble with 7 big blinds. We didn't get involved into any hands because A, we didn't pick up anything worth shoving, and B, in my experience, a lot of players in these tournaments don't really understand the implications of ICM, and more players are bound to get eliminated at any moment. Turns out our prediction became reality, as 1 orbit later, a player busted, and we managed to sneak our way into the money. That's 3 straight cashes on the vlog. Let's freaking go. We are now down to 5 big blinds though, so it's crucial that we find a shovable hand soon. The blinds go up and through us, and we cannot find a spot to put the rest of our stack in, as we're either getting dealt absolute garbage and or other players are opening, shoving when we do pick up something we'd happily shove, but not call with. We're now down to 2.5 big blinds when the following hand happens. So I shoved less than 2 big blinds with ace 6 from the cutoff. Small blind and big blind come along, obviously. Flop comes whatever, small blind checks, big blind bets with the fucking straight draw that they don't hit. Ace high is good. We tripled up. I still laugh about that spot. That was just crazy. If you're not familiar with tournament poker strategy, basically what should have happened here is the small blind and the big blind should have just checked down to the river, and what would have happened in this case is the small blind would have knocked me out and everybody would have gone up, you know, 1 ladder up in the payout structure. Instead, the big blind bet out, my ace high held, and I ended up tripling up and actually ended up having a fighting chance back into the tournament. So really a crazy spot, and in a way the continuation of the run good that we had in part 1. I don't want to spoil too much about what's going to happen here, but the run good is not over. Let's go back to the table. We're in the money. Let's see how far we can take this. Thanks everybody. I'll see you guys later. In this hand, we pick up ace-4 offsuit in the small blind. Action folds around to us, and we finally find an easy spot to shove and hopefully pick up the big blind and the ante. We shove, and the big blind folds. Our stack increases by almost 50%. Blinds go up and through us once more, so we're still hovering around the 60k mark, which means we have about 4 big blinds in our stack when we pick up pocket kings on the button. We love to see a limp from the middle position player, and when action gets to us, we have an easy and obvious shove here. We push the rest of our chips in, and the big blind, who has a monster stack, calls. Interestingly enough, the middle position player folds, so we're heads up to a showdown. The big blind, a player named Sam, with whom we had a great time playing with, shows a king. I missed the opportunity for a friendly slow roll and turn over both kings. They have king 8 of clubs, so we're in a great position to double up here. The flop comes 7-6-10 rainbow, giving Sam a gutshot straight draw. It always has to be a sweat, doesn't it? The turn and river are clean, and we add some much needed chips to our stack, but we're not out of the danger zone quite yet. Blinds go up once again, and we are struggling to keep our head above water when we pick up pocket 7s in the hijack. With 5.5 big blinds in our stack, we're not going to have many options but to shove, even after seeing supporter of the vlog Ronnie open up the action to 40,000 from under the gun. We go with the plan, we shove, and Ronnie doesn't waste much time calling once action gets back to him. I ask if he has a pair, he says yes, I say shit. Ronnie turns over pocket queens. Not much else we can do in this spot, it's just a classic setup, and we're happy to have made the money when things were looking pretty dire less than an hour ago. Let's go to a showdown. 7! Oh hey 7s guy, thanks, but as I said, it's all good. 7! Come on man, I don't want to suck out on Ronnie dude, I said it's fine. 7! Jesus. Oh my god. We somehow drill a 7 on the river for the win? I am literally speechless. Wow. We finally have some breathing room with a stack of about 13 big blinds when we look down at pocket aces. Oh aces, how I missed you. Perfect timing. Action folds to us, and with the shorter stack, this would be a slam dunk all in, but here we have a little bit of room to maneuver, so we go for a 3x open to 60,000. In retrospect, we could have gone for a more standard min raise. Not sure it would have mattered though, as everyone folds. Next time we get involved in, we pick up pocket 9s in the big blind, and the under the gun player, another player we became friendly with by the name of Justin, shoves for around 230,000. Action folds around to us, and we probably thought about this longer than we should. We did take into consideration whether a pay jump was imminent. Turns out that it wasn't. So we have a slam dunk call here with pocket 9s versus a 10 big blind shove. Let's go to a showdown. Wow. We drill top set on the flop. Easy game. We have Justin drawing very slim. The turn seals the deal and we bust him. Good game, Justin. It was a lot of fun sitting next to you. I'm sure we'll trade pots again soon. In the following hand, we see the under the gun player open to 65,000. Action folds to us and we peel ace-jack suited in the big blind. And even though this is a pretty sexy hand, I'm not really loving this spot for a couple of reasons. One, even though I close the action pre-flop, that won't be the case for the rest of the hand. I don't want to just call here and play out of position. That leaves me with two options, raising or folding. Because of my stack size, I think the only raise size that makes sense is all in. So, we're jamming or we're folding. 2, the raise is coming from the player who bet out in that pot where I was supposed to get knocked out but survived. This tells me that they may not be a very experienced player, so I don't expect them to raise very wide here. I put them on a pretty straightforward range of 10 plus, ace king, maybe ace queen. I may be able to get a fold from 10s, maybe ace queen, but in general, I have very little fold equity here. All this to say that I don't expect my opponent to fold very often if I go all in, and I'm most likely going to be in a pretty bad shape when they call. So with all that in mind, I opted for a reluctant fold. Meanwhile, A player busted at the other table, which means it's now time for the final table. Let's freaking go. We're now playing 10-handed and we get a nice warm welcome to the final table as we look down at pocket aces in middle position. We open up the action to 60,000. Action folds around to the button who 3-bet shoves for 380,000. We snap call and they show pocket kings. Wow. Once again, what a sick setup. Although it's worth noting the last time we were in this spot, we ended up chopping with the straight on the board. No chop this time, dealer. Let's go to a showdown. We see a clean flop of 10, 5 queen rainbow. Our opponent somehow picks up a gut shot on the turn. Why do these always have to be a sweat, man? We have 2 of their outs though, so it would be really sick if they found the suck out. But they don't. River is a brick, we bust a player and win a very nice pot. No time to rest on our laurels though, as the blinds keep going up. In this hand, we pick up ace-6 offsuit on the button and action folds to us. Both players in the blinds are relatively short stacked, so we're going with a standard all-in here. Both players fold and we increase our stack by almost 10% uncontested. Another player has busted, we are now 8-handed and the current payout is $1,060. We peel aces once again in the cutoff. Action folds to us and we min raise to 80,000. We would love to see one of the short stacks rejam, but sadly, everyone folds. Still nice to pick up the blinds and antes while they eat away at the other players' stacks. We are 7-handed when we pick up queen 3 in the small blind and action folds to us. The lady in the big blind has been playing a pretty tight and straightforward game up to this point, so I don't expect to get raised very often if I limp. We briefly considered stealing her blind and ante by shoving for an effective stack, but with a couple of short stacks at the table, this felt a bit like ICM suicide, so we opted for a call, and as anticipated, she checks back. The flop comes 5-6-9 with 2 hearts, and we both check. The turn is the king of hearts, and with the second nut flush draw, we feel like we can comfortably bet, which should often win the pot outright, and we still have some outs to a very strong hand if we get called. We take a stab for 50,000, and our opponent pretty quickly calls. Let's see if we can improve on the river. The river is the 3 of hearts, we make the flush, let's go. We go for a value bet of 100,000, and then this happens.
Holy.
I mean, how much is it? I mean, fuck, I have to call. I call. Do you have the ace of hearts? That's it.
I think this is a super weird spot where the numbers say it's a call, but I think I could have very easily found an exploitative fold. Our opponent did not seem like the type to jam with the worst hand, but can we really fold the second nuts there? I think maybe if they had a bigger stack, or if my tournament life was at risk, I would have given the fold more consideration. Just annoying. We hit a bump in the road there, but we still have a little over 10 big blinds in our stack, so still a fighting chance for one of the top spots. A fighting chance indeed as we look down at pocket aces, yes, again, on the button. If that wasn't good enough, we see Sam in the under the gun position shove their remaining stack of about 175,000. We 3-bet jam, both blinds fold, and we go to a showdown. Sam shows king jack of hearts, the flop comes 10 ace 9 with 2 spades, we drill top set. But Sam is not drawing dead, he can still hit a queen for a straight. No queen on the turn, nor the river, and we bust him. Good game, Sam, nice playing with you, man. In a cruel twist of fate, we ended up busting the 2 players involved in the hand where we were all in with ace 6 and should have busted. With Sam busting, we are now 4-handed with $2,125 locked up. We have officially surpassed our biggest tournament cash of $2,000, which happened to be in this very venue when we chopped it 3 ways back in November 2019. We don't want to just surpass it though, we want to crush it. Let's go. Shortly after, we see 2 other players go all in and the player at risk does not improve and busts. So we are now 3-handed with $2,665 locked up. As you can see, the payout structure for this tournament really favors the top 2 spots, and that's what we want to go for. The player to our right is currently the massive chip leader with about a 2-to-1 chip lead over myself and the player to my left. The player to my left has been playing pretty passively, even in this short-handed format, so the plan is to try and steal their big blind whenever the occasion presents itself. In this following hand, we look down at 6-7 offsuit in the big blind. The small blind completes, and we happily see a flop for free. The flop comes 7 king 5 all diamonds, and the small blind leans it to us for 60,000. Having flop second pair, we cautiously call. Let's try to get to a cheap showdown. The turn is the deuce of hearts, and on this card, we both check. The river is the ace of hearts, and we both check once again. We feel pretty comfortable about our pair of sevens, and it is indeed good. We increase our stack by almost 50% and start putting some distance between ourselves and the shorter stack. Next time we peel, ooh, that almost looked like aces, didn't it? No, it's ace 4 offsuit and the button folds. Sticking to our plan, we shove and the big blind folds. We add some much needed chips to our stack and further distance ourselves from the shortest stack at the table. Following hand we get involved in, we look down at ace 4 suited and the button folds. That means we have one move and one move only. We shove and the big blind folds, further increasing our chip lead over them. In this hand, we are on the button and we pick up aces. Yes, aces again. Our fourth pair of aces at this final table. What an incredible run. This is just unbelievable. We go for just above min raise, the small blind folds, action is on the big blind, and this is what happens.
All in?
All in?
I call.
Oh my god.
Our opponent cannot believe it, and frankly, neither can we. It's as if we are blessed by the poker gods, and our fate is to bank this tournament. Definitely the hottest run of cards I have ever witnessed and one of the biggest spots of my career. We still have a showdown to go through, so let's get to the cards. We stare in disbelief as we flop yet another set of aces. The turns brings a flush draw, which we cover. Our opponent is now drawing dead, and we win a massive pot. We are now a serious contender for the win. We are now joint chip leader, and the player to our left is way behind and short stacked. The sickness of this final table continues as literally the following hand, the short stack player goes all in with pocket jacks, only for the other player to wake up with pocket queens, the sickest of setups, three-handed. No miracle for jacks, and we are now just 2 players remaining. We make the massive pay jump to just over $5,000. We've now been playing for about 9 hours, and the other player, Steven, has about 2.5 million in chips, while we have 2 million. Despite holding about 55% of the chips, Steven offers an even chop, which we gratefully accept.
Wow, so usually I play the tournament and then I start editing a few days later, and that's when I record my intro and my outro, but I think this deserves kind of a live outro immediately after it happened. Chop, heads up, 6K each. Biggest cash of my career. We just ran so pure. This was really like the dream. You know, tournaments where you run this good don't come around very often. So it's important to savor the win, savor the moment. This is really amazing. Met a lot of cool people tonight too. A bunch of people came up and asked, you know, oh, you got a YouTube channel? What is it? And everything. So that was really cool. Thanks to Final Table for letting me film there. Thanks to everyone who said hi and who supports the vlog. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment as usual. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Obviously super happy. This is amazing, and super excited to see where things go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.